Chosen, have you noticed that the urges hit you hardest right after you pray, right when you're most seeking God? It's like something invades your mind. You don't even desire it, but it keeps pulling you in. That overwhelming sexual desire, that sudden excitement in your body. It's not a coincidence. It's not your hormones. It's not just your past. It's an ancient tactic, a spiritual weapon, and it's aimed directly at your goal. For listen to me carefully, the enemy doesn't attack the useless. He doesn't tempt those who are already lost. He attacks the chosen, the marked, those who burn with desire. And if he can seduce your mind, he can silence it. This is not a mere wish. It's not just lust. It's spiritual warfare. And it's aimed at destroying what God is building within you. You've been called to break chains, so the enemy tries to impose new ones on you. You've been called to live in purity, so he sends you poison wrapped in pleasure. But today you'll see what it's really like. And once you see it, you'll never be the same. So before we go any further, I need 3 things from you. If this post already resonates with you, like it so it reaches a wider audience, subscribe if you haven't already, because this isn't just any channel. It's a tool to awaken you. And don't hesitate to comment 99 times if you know you're in the final stretch before your big breakthrough. Why 99? Because the shepherd leaves the 99 to save the one who is about to ascend. And that might be you. Stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you will profoundly change your view of this fight. Ready? Let's dig in. Chosen one. Wondering why this temptation feels so special, so personal? Here's the truth, because it is. The enemy doesn't guess. He studied your lineage. He knows your triggers. He knows the weight of your calling. And he knows that if you ever fully assume your authority, hell loses ground. You weren't born to fit in. You carry divine power in your DNA. That's why you feel things more deeply. Why your difficulties hit you harder. Why the fire haunts you again and again. Because you're not just anyone. You're a threat. The enemy isn't wasting energy. He's not attacking your body. He's attacking your lucidity. Because when your vision is blurred, your destiny is delayed. And here's what no one tells you. The temptation you face is tailor-made for you. It's designed like a spiritual algorithm to exploit every wound, every moment of loneliness, every chink in your armor. Not because you're weak, but because you're dangerous. Your purity isn't just about your behavior. It's a spiritual signal. When you're pure, you hear God faster. You move with power. You speak with force. You change your atmosphere. But when the enemy draws you into secret sin, he distorts your frequency. You appropriate yourself. You delay obedience. You confuse conviction with condemnation. Thus, your divine impulse stops, for a distracted elect is a delayed elect. And therein lies the deception. The attack doesn't feel like a battle. It feels like desire, pleasure, a harmless release. But behind that pleasure lies a spiritual agenda. And its goal is simple: to disconnect you from your inner fire. It's not just desire. It's not a phase. It's not something everyone goes through. It's war. And the battlefield is within you. So if you're wondering why it's so hard to break free, it's because the chains were forged in the spirit, not the flesh. But now you understand, and you're no longer blind to the trap. The question is, what happens next? For in a few moments, you'll discover something far more dangerous than temptation itself. You'll see what triggers it and why it hits harder when you're closer to your breakthrough. Keep watching. The real enemy is about to be exposed. Let's go deeper now, because what I'm about to tell you is something few understand. Chosen one, sexual desire is not the enemy. Desire was created by God. It was placed within you like a sacred fire, a gift meant for covenant, intimacy, and creation. In the proper context, it's sacred. It's powerful. It's divine. But here's the danger. When fire is stolen from the altar of purity and lit in isolation, lust and secrecy it doesn't bless. It burns. Desire is a door, and like any door, it opens onto 2 spheres, the sacred and sin. One leads you to union with purpose, peace, and presence. The other draws you into cycles of shame, confusion, and hidden torment. The enemy doesn't need to destroy your life in public. He just needs to invade it in private. And every time you give in to those late-night urges, every time you click that link, entertain that thought, repeat that fantasy, you're not just making a mistake. You open a portal, a spiritual access point, and with every careless moment, you allow something impure to attach itself to your mind, your emotions, and even your sleep. That's why after feeling good, you suddenly feel empty, disconnected, spiritually numb. It wasn't just a release. It was a transaction. You gave something away, something sacred. And in return, you received false reassurance that fades as quickly as it came. And that's the trap. You tell yourself, this is the last time. But each time you give in, the desire darkens, the thoughts fester, and the guilt sharpens until you begin to wonder, is freedom even possible? But here's the truth most people never hear. You are not broken, you are at war. And this war is not to destroy your desire, but to redeem it. For when your desires are purified, they become a weapon for God, not against Him. Imagine this, a version of yourself fired by the same fire, but under divine authority, led with clarity, driven by purpose, unashamed, unwavering. This version of yourself already exists in God's plan. But you must fight for it. And before we go any further, let me ask you a question. What if what you consider your weakness is actually your training ground? What if the very desire that currently torments you is destined to transform into a liberating spiritual veil? For in the next part, you will discover why the attacks intensify just before the next level. And why doesn't the enemy care about your past? He's terrified of your future. Stay with me. Change is coming. Choose. Have you ever wondered why the battle intensifies the closer you get to God? You feel it, don't you? The moment you decide to fast, the impulse arises. As soon as you take a decisive step, you are suddenly tempted more strongly than ever. After speaking in faith, after praying earnestly, after saying, "This time it's over forever," that's when temptation hits you like a wave. It's not a coincidence. It's not a figment of your imagination. It's spiritual interference. The enemy doesn't attack when you're standing still. He waits for you to move forward. He waits for you to gain momentum, because he knows you're about to advance. He senses when heaven is up to something. He hears when the angels are sent. He feels the weight of what's coming. So what does he do? He brandishes his most familiar weapon, flesh. For if he can trap you there, he can keep you from entering your next kingdom. See, there are kingdoms of glory inaccessible with unclean hands. There are doors that will only open if your heart is in harmony with your mind. And the enemy knows this better than most believers. That's why he has no need to destroy you. Just distract yourself, slow yourself down, entertain yourself. Think about it. Every time you're about to reach a new level, a relationship from the past resurfaces. A memory comes back to you. A photo appears on your phone. An impulse takes hold of you. Not because you're failing, but because you're on the brink of something sacred. Listen carefully. War is loudest when heaven is near. The battle rages just before the breakthrough. Just before the blessing, just before the change. And here's the part no one sees. As you struggle with temptation, a movement manifests in the unseen. Demons assigned to slow you down, missions designed to disrupt you, all because you're about to unlock something eternal. You think this is just another moment of weakness, but spiritually you're at the gates of your next dimension. And if the enemy can keep you trapped in shame, if he can convince you that you're too dirty, too addicted, too lost, then you won't even try to reach that gate. He's not afraid of your past. He's afraid of your future, because when you cross the Atlantic, you won't just live free, you'll begin to free others. And that's what terrifies him most. So the question is, will you give in to the trap or rise above the tension? Because in the next segment, you'll discover what truly fuels your inner fire and why most of the chosen keep falling, even when they desperately seek to rise again. You are closer than you think, but only the awakened will overcome what is coming. Listen carefully, chosen one, for the lie ends here. The enemy has whispered it for too long. You are too broken. You have come too far. If you were truly chosen, you would not fight like this. But here is the truth, you are not weak. You are dangerous. Attack isn't proof of failure. It's proof of your anointing. Do you think the dark side wastes its time hunting down someone with no future? Do you really think hell would send reinforcements for someone who poses no threat? Temptation doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're being seen. You've been detected in the mind, marked, tracked, and watched, because what you carry inside you weighs you down. Heaven has placed something in your life that hell cannot ignore. So every thought that has crossed your mind that said, "I must be broken because I still struggle," get rid of it. That struggle is not your identity. It is your proof. Proof that you carry something inside you that hell fears. Let me ask you, have you ever noticed how war seems tailor-made for your soul? So personal that it feels like a trap. It's true. The enemy studies your patterns, your wounds, your gifts, and creates the perfect storm. Not to defeat you, but to convince you to defeat yourself. And if he succeeds in making you believe that temptation equals disqualification, you will begin to feel ashamed instead of abiding in grace. You will stop praying. You will stray from your goal. And in the process, you will delay your own destiny. While the enemy stands aside and watches without even lifting a finger. But listen to me carefully. Temptation does not disqualify you. It identifies you. You are under attack, not because you are broken, but because you are about to break through. Every chain that tries to hold you back knows what happens when you are finally free. Every spirit that whispers in the darkness knows the roar that will rise when you find your voice again. You are not weak. You are dedicated. You are not failing. You are rising. And no matter how many times you have fallen, there is still breath in your lungs, which means you remain a threat. The fact that you continue to see this, to hear it, to struggle, means the devil has failed, and you don't even know it. But you are about to step into a version of yourself that hell never wanted to see. So let me tell you again, stronger than your doubts. You are not being attacked because you are losing. You are under attack because you were chosen. But what if I told you that the centerpiece, what the enemy fears most, is not your strength but your revelation? Because once you open your eyes to this truth, you will never fall into the same trap again. That's what comes next, and it will change everything. Now that you've opened your eyes, it's time to fight back. But listen carefully. This battle is not won by willpower alone. It's not just about doubling your efforts. You've tried before and you've felt exhausted, defeated and ashamed. That's because you've been using natural weapons to fight a spiritual battle. The enemy doesn't fear your efforts. He fears your alignment. The flesh is not conquered by discipline alone. It is conquered by a divine strategy. And that begins with prayer. Not with routine, casual prayer, but with intense, frank, and sincere communion with God. The kind of prayer that pierces the darkness and elicits angelic support. When you open your mouth in faith, you are not speaking into the void. You change spiritual spheres. Then fasting. Fasting quiets the noise of the flesh and awakens the voice of the Spirit. It tells your body that you are not in control and tells heaven that I am ready to go further. Some chains are only broken when fasting comes into play. It is not a punishment, it is a positioning. And then